Every single day, people try to control you. At work, in your relationships, in your family, even with your friends. They don't always do it on purpose, but slowly, silently, they pull you into their frame. They make you feel guilty. They make you question yourself. They make you give more than you should. And here's why. Most people don't get manipulated because they're weak. They get manipulated because they never learned how power really works. They believe that being kind protects them. They believe that being honest protects them. But Machiavelli understood what most people never see. You don't get manipulated because others are smarter. You get manipulated because you leave your doors wide open. You're too predictable, too available, too easy to read, too easy to trap. But once you understand the real mechanics of power, everything shifts. You stop being the easy target. You stop being drained. You become untouchable, calm, sharp, dangerous. And that's exactly what we're about to do. In this video, I'll break down 6 Machiavellian rules that will make you unmanipulatable in relationships, at work, in family, in life. Each rule you learn is one more layer of armor. Miss even one, and someone, somewhere, will use that weakness against you. Stay until the end, because I guarantee you, at least one of these traps is already controlling you right now. And the second you fix it, you change your entire life. Let's begin. Rule 1. Control access to your emotions. The fastest way people gain control over you is by studying your emotions. The moment they know what upsets you, what excites you, what makes you nervous, they start building the strings they'll pull later. Here's the trap most fall into. They over-explain, they overshare. They think that if they communicate openly, people will treat them better. But Machiavelli saw it with brutal clarity. He who becomes a source of another's power is already defeated. Translation? The more you expose your feelings, the more weapons you hand to the other side. Picture this. You have an argument with your girlfriend or boyfriend. They pull back emotionally, cold, distant, silent. And what do? You send long messages. You explain how much you love them. You start apologizing for things you don't even believe were wrong. You try to fix it. In that moment, the game flips. You're no longer negotiating. You're begging. Your emotions are now tools in their hands. It happens at work, too. A colleague criticizes you in a meeting. Instead of staying calm, you react emotionally, defensive, irritated, explaining your every move. Suddenly, they see where to push next time, and they will. Here's what powerful people do differently. They allow very little access to their emotional world. When emotions rise, they hold center. They don't explain. They don't defend. They don't broadcast their inner state. They let people wonder. Because uncertainty creates caution, and caution creates respect. When people can't predict what will trigger you, they stop trying to push. When they can't read you, they start fearing you might be smarter than them. That's control. Now let's move forward. Because the next rule is about how your words, even the small ones, silently hand away your power. Rule 2. Speak less, mean more. The weakest people believe that words will save them. That if they explain enough, defend enough, justify enough, they'll avoid conflict. But words rarely create safety. They usually create openings. Every extra word becomes a window people will use to question you, negotiate with you, or guilt you. Machiavelli saw it perfectly. The more you explain, the more vulnerable you become. Because every explanation gives your opponent material to work with. They see your insecurities, they hear your doubts, they sense your need to be understood, and they'll use it. Imagine this. Your friend asks you for a favor you don't want to do. You say, "No, I can't." They respond, "Why not?" Instead of standing firm, you start explaining, "Well, I've got a lot going on. Maybe later. I feel bad, but..." Now they smell hesitation. They say, "Come on, it won't take long. You always help me, why not this time?" Don't be like that. Suddenly, your simple no becomes a debate you created by adding words. It works exactly the same in relationships. Picture this. You set a boundary with your partner. They question it. You explain. They poke holes in your explanation. Now you're negotiating your own standards, and they control the frame. Powerful people speak differently. They say what they mean once. No debate, no panic, no over-explaining. Yes. No. This is my decision. Then they hold the silence. Because silence puts pressure on others, not on you. When you speak like that, calm, clear, final, people feel they have no space to argue. They feel your certainty. And when your words carry weight, you don't need many of them. That's how authority sounds. Now let's move forward. Because the next rule explains why people constantly get emotionally trapped in modern relationships and how you can break free from it. Rule 3. Never make your approval cheap. Manipulators don't control you by force. They control you by getting you addicted to their approval. And the moment you need their validation, they own you. Machiavelli saw this truth clearly. The one who craves love too much becomes easy to use. Because when someone knows you seek constant reassurance, they no longer need strength to manipulate you, only silence. Imagine this. You're dating someone. You compliment her non-stop. You constantly check in. Are you happy with me? Do you still love me? Is everything okay between us? At first, she smiles. Then she realizes, you fear losing her more than she fears losing you. Now she doesn't need to argue or fight. She simply pulls back affection. She gets distant. She says, I just need space. I'm not sure how I feel. And you panic. You overgive. You work harder to please. You negotiate for her attention. Without raising her voice, she has complete leverage. The same dynamic happens everywhere. Picture this at work. You constantly seek your boss's praise. You fish for compliments. You look for signs of approval. Now they control your anxiety, your motivation, your self-worth, and they don't even need to say a word. Here's the shift. Stop needing applause. Stop needing reassurance. You reward behavior that aligns with your standards, not out of insecurity, but out of principle. You give approval when it's earned. You pull away when it's not. Because a person who values themselves deeply doesn't beg to be chosen. They lead, they observe, and they're always willing to walk calmly if respect fades. This is how you move from emotional dependence to emotional dominance. Now let's move forward. Because the next rule explains how manipulators trap you, not by force, but by carefully designed chaos. Rule 4. Don't rescue adults. One of the most common traps that destroy powerful men is not weakness, it's over-responsibility. You meet someone who seems lost. She carries pain. She shares her wounds early. Her life feels like one long tragedy. Toxic parents, ex-boyfriends who ruined her, friends who betrayed her, struggles at work, financial problems piling up. And you feel chosen to be the one who finally brings stability. You say to yourself, she's been through so much. If I show her real love, she'll finally heal. This is the beginning of the prison. Because while your heart is in the right place, your frame is collapsing. Machiavelli would have called this exactly for what it is. Weak men create their own chains. You're not being noble. You're making yourself emotionally hostage to her dysfunction. Now imagine how this plays out. You cover her bills because she's trying. You handle her breakdowns because she's traumatized. You mediate her conflicts because no one ever defended her. You cancel your priorities to calm her panic attacks. You shrink your ambitions to avoid adding pressure on her fragile state. And the more you do, the more she needs. The more chaos appears. The more responsibility gets transferred onto your back. You become her emotional parent, not her partner. But here's what most men don't see. She's not healing, because she never intended to. Her pain is her identity, and your rescue makes it permanent. Now zoom out. This dynamic doesn't only exist in romantic relationships. In business, you constantly bail out that employee who keeps failing. You handle crises they created. You protect them from the cost of their own incompetence. In friendships, you have that one friend always in drama, always needing help. You step in every time, thinking you're loyal, but you're just enabling. Even in family, you become the one who pays, who fixes, who carries everyone emotionally and financially. And over time, they don't admire you for it. They expect it. Because what costs you your peace becomes their comfort zone. Here's where power shifts. Real strength isn't in rescuing. It's in allowing consequences. You don't abandon people who want to rise, but you never carry those who refuse accountability. You give support to the willing. You walk away from the dependent. Because at the highest level of power, you must remember, everyone must carry their own weight, or they're simply borrowing yours. And no king stays king when his throne is built on the backs of those who refuse to walk. Now let's move forward. Because the next rule is where the most dangerous manipulators attack you, not through your heart, but through your deepest masculine instinct for control. Rule 5. Always protect your options. The most dangerous form of manipulation isn't always direct. It happens slowly, through comfort, through emotional investment, through isolation disguised as love. And one day, you wake up trapped, without even realizing how it happened. Machiavelli saw this clearly. Power belongs to the man who always has options. Let's break it down. Imagine this. You meet a woman. She's beautiful. She makes you feel chosen. At first, it's innocent. Why do you still hang out with your friends so much? You're always busy with your work. You don't need to go to the gym today. Let's just stay together. Piece by piece, your world outside of her shrinks. Your friends become distant. Your ambitions start slowing down. Your routines start fading. And you justify it. I'm building something serious. She's my priority. But here's where power flips. Because now your emotional balance, your identity, your purpose, all orbit around her presence. She becomes your only center of gravity. And when one person controls your center, they control your reactions, they control your decisions, they control your peace. Now imagine if she pulls away, suddenly distant, less invested, testing your frame. You panic because you have no backup structure, no mission still running, no strong friendships still grounded, no growth still expanding. She doesn't need to destroy you. you already weakened yourself. This dynamic doesn't only exist in dating, in business. You build one client, one stream of income, one opportunity. If that client leaves, your entire foundation crumbles. In friendships, you drop your long-term circle for one person who demands exclusivity. If they turn toxic, you're isolated with nowhere to lean. Even in family, they guilt you into always sacrificing your path for their approval. And one day, you resent both them and yourself. Machiavelli would call this voluntary enslavement. Here's how you stay untouchable. You never allow yourself to become fully dependent, emotionally, financially, socially, or mentally, on any one person, job, or situation. You nurture multiple pillars: your mission, your circle, your health, your skills, your future projects. You build so much internal leverage that no external storm can break you. Because when people realize you have options they cannot control, they respect you more, or they leave. Both are wins. Now let's move forward, because the final rule is where every master of power builds his foundation. The one thing that makes manipulation almost impossible. Rule 6. Never reveal your full hand. The easiest person to control is the one you fully understand, because once you know their desires, fears, habits, weaknesses, you can predict every move before they even make it. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. Appear as you must, but never reveal your full nature. Because full transparency is not vulnerability, it's surrender. Now picture this. You meet someone. You want them to trust you, so you open the door wide. Here's my dream. Here's my biggest fear. Here's what I'm insecure about. Here's exactly what I want from life. At first, it feels intimate. It feels like you're building connection. But quietly, you just handed them your manual. They know where to press if they want compliance. They know what to threaten if they want obedience. They know exactly how far they can push before you break. You became predictable, and predictable people are easy to manage. This isn't just about romantic relationships. At work, you overshare your ambitions to a colleague. Now they position themselves ahead of you strategically, and you never see it coming. In family, you reveal every emotional weakness. Now they know which guilt triggers to pull when you refuse their demands. In friendships, you expose every vulnerability. Now jokes turn into subtle digs that chip away at your confidence. Machiavelli understood one law of survival. Mystery protects power. Because when people can't fully read you, they hesitate before challenging you. They stay cautious before attacking you. They respect what they can't predict. You must control what you show. Reveal your vision, but never your full strategy. Share your emotions, but never your entire core. Speak your truth, but never your full range of fears. Let them know enough to respect you, but not enough to control you. Because what people cannot fully understand, they cannot fully destroy. And that is how you become untouchable. Before we close, there's one truth you need to carry with you, because it separates the ones who stay trapped from the ones who finally break free. Most people aren't manipulated because they're weak. They're manipulated because they're naive about how power truly works. They believe that kindness guarantees safety, that honesty earns protection, that love automatically creates loyalty. But reality is far less romantic. The person who studies power, who applies these rules, doesn't become heartless. He becomes sovereign, grounded, unshakable. He no longer reacts to every provocation. He no longer chases what can be lost. He no longer pours his energy into the hands of those who feed on his vulnerability. Machiavelli never taught cruelty for its own sake. He taught clarity. He exposed the world as it is, so you could move through it as you choose. You don't need to destroy others to rise. You don't need to manipulate to win. You only need to stop giving away the parts of yourself that must remain guarded. Your peace, your emotions, your secrets, your future. Because once you master this discipline, once you carry yourself with quiet authority, once you move like someone who owes no explanations, you're no longer at the mercy of their games. You become the game. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.